Welcome back to my channel, YouTubers. Today, I'm going to get deep with you, deep about my connection with China. I don't fit the typical stereotype of a foreigner, gone to China, found a job, pick up a Chinese girl, get married, live happily ever after. So many foreigners here in China are in that mold, and yeah, it's a stereotype that I can't shake. If I'm wandering around restaurants or wandering China with my wife on my arm, who looks much younger than me, she's not really that much younger, maybe 12 years, but I'm lucky. I found a beautiful wife in Australia, actually several years before coming to China. My wife was actually in Brisbane. I met my wife in Australia and she didn't really want to come to China. She was happy in Australia. She'd been there for some time, become Australian, was very local, and I dragged her back to China. But my connection, real deep connection with China, I think it actually started a long time before that. In my early days, maybe 17, I joined the Air Force in Australia, the RAAF as an instrument technician and to work on aircraft instrumentation. Then my roommate happened to be a Kung Fu instructor, Chinese Kung Fu basically. I knew nothing about it at the time. He needed a training partner, he needed a punching bag basically. So I became his punching bag, and from that I learnt basics of Wing Chun, Kung Fu, and since then I started getting interested in China, studied a bit more about China, and over the years learnt more and more and studied. Eventually in my, probably from around 28, 30 years old, got a very deeper interest in Buddhism, and I've ever since been very much following the Buddhist way of thinking, the Buddhist way of life, and it's helped me a lot in terms of my understanding of how things work in China. And when you talk about my connection to China, I find some really interesting things happened here since we've been here. You know, we've, because I wanted to learn more about where did my wife's family come from, which drove us to get her parents to allow us to go and visit some villages and some interesting areas where, you know, some of the roots are, where some of her grandparents' families were from. So we're talking great grandparents. And interesting things happened when I came to some of these small towns. I had these strange feelings with it being familiar. I feel like I've been here before. I felt so comfortable being there. It was like I was just coming as we arrived and drive around through these villages, through these hills, to find I've been here before. So you never know. There could be an even deeper connection with China. You know, my beliefs in Buddhism, you know, we really do believe, you know, there's a life. There's a life and many lives to come. After my feelings I've had in some of these, in this small city, small town village near in Shandong here, a small town village called Wendong. It's quite special, and I want to go back there again and again. I'll make a separate video about one of our trips there and show you a bit about the place. But my feeling there was quite amazing. You know, meet some old guys are still working in the fields there in the village, and he felt so warm and so special, so familiar. So maybe I have a deeper connection to China. Maybe. Could I have been here in a former life? Maybe. It's interesting. Interesting when you think about where you've come from, where you're going, and how you get there. You know, I didn't plan coming here. I had no plans to come to China. I thought maybe one day I would come to China for a holiday. But I was happy in living in Australia. I'd learnt a bit about Chinese culture. I was practicing some Chinese martial arts and keeping fit, and it was wonderful. But very unexpectedly, I met my wife when I was visiting in Brisbane. And it was to my surprise that suddenly I meet this girl she's beautiful, she's smart, and we fit together so well. Very unexpected. I was not looking for it. It's interesting how these things happen. She's in Australia, doesn't want to go to China. I get a business opportunity in my company that needs me to go to China. And then I'm dragging her back to China. It just so happens, her parents are getting a bit older and they probably prefer her to be here in China. And then they have an opportunity to spend time with their granddaughter. So there's a lot of synergies here. So, here we are. I'm in China. I think I'll be here for another 10 years or so, at least. Maybe when our daughter gets older, we'll probably want to get back to Australia and get a good, different Australian education. All right. Thanks for joining me. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe, and in the next few videos I'll tell you a bit more about my life here in China. See you again next time.